What is going on, guys? Welcome to this episode of Odds and Ends. And, I guess first, I love having a section on my channel where I can kind of do whatever I want, right? Like, so pickup videos, you're kind of tied into just doing pickups and let's plays. Let's play something. Odds and Ends, when I started this, I was like, what if there's a time when you want to take apart a console? What if there's a time where you get a package from somebody? What if there's a time where you do a challenge video? What if there's a time where you've got something to talk about? So I love actually having this section. I'm not saying I'm a genius, but genius. No, I'm just kidding. Today we're going to talk about something that's a little bit more serious, and I may use a little bit more earthy language than you're accustomed to, because this kind of stuff kind of pisses me off a little bit. So I guess to kind of preface everything here, kind of preface, if you will. I'm making this video not to poke fun at people who may have gotten duped by buying something on eBay, or we're not, going to make fun of somebody because they didn't know something about, how to spot fakes or anything like that. But I do want to just sort of reiterate how careful you have to be when you're buying games online. Okay? There's 1,000 videos out there to spot fake Game Boy Advance games and fake NES carts and fake labels and, all that stuff. But with the value of video games getting to where they are, there's going to be a ton of scumbags that come into our hobby just to prey on people that don't know any better. Now, I'm not saying that that's what happened here. Okay, I'm going to let you guys be the judge of that. And if you guys have any stories that you want to share about, maybe a bad fake cartridge that you got, or a bad label or something like that, or maybe you bought a copy of Demon's Crest and you popped it in your Super Nintendo and it was NHL 95. If you have any of those stories that you want to share, please, please, please share those in the comment section down below. Again, not to make fun of the situation or anything like that, but sort of to help use it as a learning tool to help other people, learn. So maybe they don't fall in that same trap. So, a friend of mine that I work with, he ordered Conker's Bad Fur Day offline off of eBay. Okay. And it was $67 plus $3.50 shipping. So it was like $70. 3 or 4 days later, it arrives on his doorstep. I'm at work. He's at home. He texts me a couple pictures. And within a few seconds, really, I noticed that this was a reproduction label. All right. So I'm going to show it to you. And I know it's kind of hard to tell with the iPhone, but here's the fake. And here's the legit copy. This is my legit copy that I bought from a vendor who owns a game store who verifies everything. So when I bought this, I knew I had the cleanest copy that I could find, and it had been verified as a legit Nintendo product. If you were looking at these side by side, especially from like right about there, you can't really tell. Okay? You might be able to tell a little bit because of, the way the ink is set up, and that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the ink on this label. If you saw this at a garage sale at 10 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, hey, how much is this Conker's game? And the guy said $25, you would probably buy it. I probably would buy it too. Now, here's one of my pet peeves. We're going to sidetrack for a second, and then we're going to get back to the label. One of my pet peeves is when people post on their listings that the item is clean, and yeah, some of you said it with me, tested. So this guy's ad, it's cleaned and tested. Does that look clean to you? How about that? Does that look clean right there? It's not clean. In fact, when I cleaned it out, I had to use 3 Q-tips, and look at all that dirt that was in there. So, that's such clean and tested is such a subjective thing. To somebody like me, and to somebody like, fellow YouTuber Blast Mode 7, when we say that we cleaned and tested something, we took the whole fucking thing apart, scrubbed it down with soap and water, got all the gunk off of there, all the stickers, all the tape. We put it back together and tested it. We put it in a console, made sure it worked, played it for a couple minutes, took a picture of us playing it so we could verify that the fucking thing works, and then we can say it's cleaned and tested. This guy probably took a washcloth and went, and then one Q-tip, and he was like, yeah, I played this like 10 years ago, so it's clean, and I tested it like 10 years ago. That's my assumption anyway. So after cleaning it, it does work. It is a legit copy of Conker's. We got the screws out of the back, the security bits out of the back, and it is a legit board. It's just he printed a reproduction label and put it on there. So my friend emails him. He's kind of asking me what to do, and I said, listen, if you're buying it just to play it, okay, and you want to keep it in your collection just sort of as a keepsake, kind of a nostalgia because you had that game back when you were a kid, and you don't care about the reproduction label because you're not trying to sell it or pawn it off anywhere else, $70 isn't that bad of a deal. But on the flip side, you were kind of misled a little bit, and $70 is, for us, quite a bit of money to shell out for a game. So, if you're not happy with that product, then ship it back, get your money back, and, move on. And he's still trying to decide what to do. But I told him, I said, if you ever trade that game or sell it or whatever, you have to let the person know, just so you know, this is a reproduction label. So, he gets kind of pissed about it, which I would too. And he sends an email back to the seller. And the email says this. He says, hey, man, I have a few questions about the Conker's Bad Fur Day game that I just purchased from you. And then he lists 3 things here. First, why is there a reproduction label? This seems like fresh. Did you just do this? Second, like I said, we were having a problem with one of the security bits. It was like stripped, so it just kept spinning in there. We actually couldn't get it out. So he asked about that. And then he said, third, why is the back label missing? Now, I've got plenty of sports games I can swap out. That's not that big a deal to me. But he says, hey, please respond back as soon as possible, And I'm not trying to put this all on the seller. Okay, because I know a lot of you are sellers and you're good sellers, and sometimes you make mistakes. But in this person's case, when you're selling a high-end game like Conker's, or in a desirable game, a game that's going to bring a lot of interest like Conker's, you need to make your description as accurate as possible. That's the key word, accurate as possible. Take photos from all sides, mention that the back label's not there, whatever. So this guy sends an email back, this seller, and he's Happy Mask 2015, and he's got 82 feedback, but only 2 of his feedback are negative. So, apparently he's doing something okay, because only 2 people have responded negatively to him. So this is what he says back. He says, hey there, sorry I did not describe accurately this item. I can issue a refund once item has been returned. Just open a return request at Resolution Center and you be totally refunded for this once item has arrived. I will repay shipping. No worries. Thanks. Now, this isn't an attack on his grammar or his spelling or sentence structure, okay? This is an attack on that first sentence. Sorry I did not describe accurately this item. Basically, that tells me that you knew that you could have described it better. But you also didn't want to lie, because he could have taken a different path, right? He could have said, that's not a fake label, and, or I didn't know it was a fake label. He's not saying that. He's just saying, sorry I didn't accurately describe it, which means he knew more about it than what he was letting on. And he failed intentionally not to put that information in the description. So, I'm talking to my friend, I'm like, dude, just send it back, get your money back, and, pawn it off. He can pawn it off on somebody else, but whatever. Let me know what you guys would do. $70 for a Conker's with a reprinted label, it's not a terrible deal, I guess. But I think it's just the deception and misleading people. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to cut, and then I've taken photos of both of these labels, and we'll kind of get into detail some of the things that you can look for when you're buying games, especially high-end games. Like, I don't think anybody cares if there's a reproduction label in All-Star Baseball 2000, right? You just buy that game because you want to play it and whatever. But a higher-end item, you need to look more accurately at. So, all right, guys, let's get to the photos. All right, so here's the cartridges. They're side by side. Legit copy is on the top. The reproduction label copy is on the bottom. Like I said, guys, you know, at first glance, these look very, very similar, and maybe you wouldn't know what to look for, but we're going to check that out here in the next set of pictures. So here we go. All right, so here is the reproduction label. What I want to start off by talking about is notice the black background, how there's white patches in it. Also, in between the N and the K on Conkers, the blotch from the white ink has gotten onto the black ink. And most notably, down by the ESRB rating, underneath the B, there's more white ink that has sort of kind of blotched its way into that black background. So let's take a look at a legit copy, and you'll notice a difference right away. Okay, so the first thing you're going to notice right away is that the black background is nice and glossy. There are no white blotchy parts on the label. All the outlines are nice and crisp and clean. So this is what a legit copy looks like. Now let's take a look at some of the label issues, the trademark issues, the logo issues. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the published by Rareware logo. You'll notice published by is actually very blurry, and the gold border around the Rareware logo doesn't actually go all the way around. You'll see on the legit copy it does. This gold border actually sort of fades on a legit copy. It fades, you know, a little bit. And also the word Rareware is pretty much indistinguishable. That is not the quality of product that Nintendo puts out, and you'll see that. Alright, admittedly, maybe not the best photo as it's a little bit blurry, but you guys get the idea. Published by is actually distinguishable. There are no black blotches inside that white ink. The gold border actually goes all the way around, and you can tell that the gold border sort of fades a little bit as it gets down and closer to the bottom. The word Rareware is distinguishable even with this bad photo. So let's take a look at the labels on the bottom, the ESRB rating, the Nintendo logo, and the seal of quality. Okay, here are some very important indicators. This is the reproduction cartridge. Looking at the ESRB rating, if you notice on the very far left-hand side where the black background, then there's white, then there's the internal line for the ESRB rating right by the M. You can tell that there's fuzzy and that there's, you know, black blotches inside the white ink. Also, if you look at the identifying numbers at the bottom in the middle, NUS006 USA and the other number, those again, white ink with black blotches in them. The actual Nintendo logo, the red and white Nintendo logo, is a little bit fuzzy, but it's actually not bad. And the seal of quality, obviously that's very, very fuzzy. Could be from sun fading, but if you also look at the inner gold ring, not the one around Nintendo, but the inner gold ring, you can see that it's dark and then it's light, and then it gets dark and then it gets light as you move around clockwise. So let's take a look at the legit copy. Yeah, so this one is night and day, right? All the colors pop, all the lines are nice and crisp. There's no ink bleeding, you know, like we talked about before, black ink bleeding into the white areas or white bleeding into the black ink areas. All the numbering, NUS006 USA, all those are nice, crisp, clean. The red and white Nintendo logo is bold, it pops. The official Nintendo seal, if you didn't know any better, you know, it looks like a sticker on there because of the quality. And that's sort of the point of this, is that Nintendo's going to put out the best quality product it can, and, you know, labels are no exception. Is there some guy in his basement that's got the best printer and the best ink and the best paper, and he's going to fool people? Yeah. But most people that are trying to fool people aren't going to have access to that kind of stuff, and they're going to want to reduce their costs so they can increase their profit. I hope this video kind of helped, maybe gave you some indicators, or, if you're an experienced gamer, kind of reminded you of some things. So, like I said, I hope it helps, and I hope to hear from you guys in the comments section. So, next time. All right, guys, so there you have it. Hope you guys maybe learned something or whatever. Hope you share an experience that maybe you had. So, guys, we'll see you next time.